You are welcome once again on the Behind Recap that has been building among Russia, and Ukraine has reached its Senate. Explosions have began taking area at an incredibly common right and uncommon plot, become devised through the Ukrainian Navy, and it came dangerously near and trapping Russia. The query now is, what exactly did the Ukrainian military want to do? Which location seen in boom within the severity of the conflicts to be able to have a verbal exchange in this? Allows overview the maps and brush up on our previous know how the Russian Navy turned into altered earlier than it may rescue after making significant development within the operations that were launched from the east of Ukraine. The Russian army was best a success in occupying 4 districts in Ukraine at some stage in their invasion. After this degree, the Russian military, which had taken Blue Husk, don't ask. Zaporizhia and Kherson entered a pleasant marriage phase of the struggle at some stage in the counter-operations that the Ukrainian Navy initiated. It performed charges in a variety of different places. The majority of the Russian tanks that were transported to Ukraine had been removed by drones operated with the aid of the Ukrainian army. The destruction of Russian animal garage centers. Because of this, the Russian Navy become not able to keep the floor campaign due to the fact not one of the important device might be used. At this juncture, the Navy of Ukraine started formulating a good-sized method. The Russian military is successfully causing large damage, way to the plan that turned into achieved. Today, the massive plan that Ukraine has formulated is properly obtained by means of military experts. First, the Ukrainian army became a hit in retaking the territory that Russia had taken in the Kherson location. This region became the largest local capital that Russia conquered, even as they have been in control of it after the metropolis of Kherson became freed. Ukraine received the higher hand in terms of psychological dominance, because Russia endured its gravest sat back in this warfare and gained nothing. All through this system, Zelensky adhered to an extremely good coverage. The astute and audacious declaration made through Zelensky from the very beginning of the war had an impact on the course that the combat might take. When this battle is accomplished, there may be dozens of guides written via political scientists about how successful Zelensky's policies had been. Step 1 that Zelensky took that changed into fruitful become making his statement. In opposition to the tried invasion, the citizens of Ukraine had a tremendous deal of tension on the final results of this struggle. The phrases made by means of Zelensky stimulated increasing ranges of bravery and camaraderie. Many of the Ukrainian humans, as a comedian, as unfastened author within the beyond. Zelensky was pretty skilled at turning in motivational and uplifting speeches to the Ukrainian humans, which helped enhance ethical and inspire them. Every other of Zelensky's accomplishments become a skillful negotiations with individuals of NATO after assembly with Zelensky. Each global leader elevated the quantity of aid they had been delivering to Ukraine. Russia sustained an extensive quantity of harm as an immediate result of NATO member. International locations transport of weaponry. In the course of his torch with his generals, Zelensky would additionally endorse enormously crucial techniques to enforce those. Techniques have been examined with the aid of intelligence officials and the Russian military, and they had been eventually authorized following the conclusion of this meeting. The top mystery approach turned into without delay positioned into action by the Ukrainian armed forces. Due to enforcing this technique, the general public of the Ukrainian army's army forces have been withdrawn from lower back, a lot backward, became no longer a completely crucial vicinity for the general method. But the Russian Navy, which turned into losing on all fronts, believed that it ought to manufacture propaganda with the aid of achieving a victory in this road. This brought about the Russian army's eventual victory. The plan that Ukraine has an area appeared much like this. It's far generally general that the Ukrainian armed forces removed their navy presence from back mode, which made it viable for Russia to gain ground in this location, because whilst the Russian Navy started its accomplice this vicinity, all the artillery units that had been concealed with the aid of Ukraine have become visible within per week. Russia suffered the lack of lots of infantrymen in this region. Russia changed into very positive that it would be able to manipulate of this territory. Because of this, the level of propaganda that was broadcast on Russian television networks multiplied considerably. Russia, however, becomes shown yet any other lesson in humility as a result of the resistance positioned up via the Ukrainian army, even after several weeks of trying. Russia, which has one of the most congested militaries in the global, has not been a success in taking pictures. Backward on this region, the Ukrainian army is currently engaged in some, without a doubt, historic operations. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense distributed photographs and provided specifics regarding the ongoing corporations. The jobs operated by using Ukraine are continually retaining tabs on Russian places after the Russian troops have established themselves of their position. The artillery devices are supplied with these coordinates. Those are the coordinates of Russian objectives that Ukrainian artillery devices are currently destroyed. The situation for Russia in this place is nearly hopeless. The Russian pressure became hamped in by way of soldiers from the Ukrainian military. All Russian objectives on this place are actually within the firing range of the artillery held by the Ukrainians. Inside the course of their operations in these areas, Ukrainian artillery units acquire a full-size victory in as little as in the future. Inside the past kingdom, the Russian Navy has suffered a loss of 510 provider individuals in general. Considering the start of the battle, this was one of the maximum numbers of deaths that have took place. Russia is currently going through some of its worst hours in its whole records. For the duration of this war, the Russian army suffered extra than 90,000 casualties across all branches of carrier. Why then is Russia persevering to maintain its presence in this region in the wake of this sort of crushing loss? The Russian press and government both made very brazen statements as an instantaneous end result of the trap that becomes set via the Ukrainian military. The Russian military, which were defeated on all fronts, was hoping to redeem itself by way of prevailing in the front of the warfare so as to regain its recognition. Within the occasion that Russia admits that it too changed into unsuccessful within the operation embankment, this can provoke considerable responses from the Russian population. The resistance towards the government of Russia is handiest developing stronger. The significant underperformance of Russia within the battle is any other issue that contributes to the escalation of these reactions. The people of Russia accept as true with that